Guys, welcome back to News Food Science. We discuss comics, movies, games, and more. And today I'm going to be reviewing The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Episode 4, titled The World is Watching. And you obviously find out why that is actually given the title. So before I get into this, I want you guys to go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and click on bell notifications so you don't miss anything. I upload videos on a daily, and I do live streams at least now twice a week, starting Tuesdays and Sundays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Join my Discord. The invitation link to my Discord is down in the description box below. And with all that being said, let's go ahead and get to the review. So before I get into the review, I just want to let you know that I will not be reviewing this shot for shot, every single specific moment that happens in this episode. I'm not going to be reviewing all of it. Just a lot of the memorable stuff that I'm going to be reviewing. Some of the references, because boy, there are some Winter Soldier and Civil War references in this series, and especially in this episode. Very, very heavily influenced from Civil War and Winter Soldier. So let's go ahead and get into the review. So as usual, Sam and Bucky are basically still on the hunt of the Flag Smashers. John Walker's on their trail, and they're doing things their way. John Walker and Lamar Hoskins. Now, a few of the things that really did catch me by surprise, and spoiler alert right here, is the death of Lamar Hoskins. I mean, we do see John Walker getting close to losing it, and I'll get to that in a second. Another thing that really made me just jump up a little bit up in my seat was that we got a flashback of 6 years ago. 6 years ago in Wakanda, we get a little bit of a flashback where Ayo, the woman who appeared at the end of episode 3 from the Dora Milaje, Ayo was actually looking for Zemo. And we see a flashback where Ayo is trying to help Bucky, get control of himself back by uttering the same words that Zemo would utter just to activate the Winter Soldier, just to make him, go crazy and just get all brainwashed and just lose everything about himself, lose all sight of himself. And during these flashbacks, we see different scenes from all the movies across the the events of the of Bucky as the Winter Soldier, starting with Winter Soldier with his fight with Captain America, his fight with Iron Man, Tony Stark, with and alongside Captain America. You see him really breaking down and tearing up. He's afraid that Ayo trying this out, it's not gonna work. Nothing's gonna work no matter what. And Bucky's just really scared. But he tears up in a way that's he's going through pain because of all the memories he's had as a Winter Soldier. And one of the things that got me was how he teared up, especially with Tony Stark, because knowing that Bucky killed Tony Stark's parents. Bucky never actually got to make amends with Tony Stark after the fact, because Tony died. He just feels guilty in a way. So, I mean, he was really crying hard there. And also there was a bit of a sense of relief that, now those words can no longer activate the Winter Soldier. So that was one of the things that really caught my eye, and I was like, wow, that's very intense. This episode was emotional, intense, and of course dark towards the end. Especially with the John Walker character, the new Captain America, or U.S. Agent, whatever you want to call him, to avoid, I guess, confusion. Let's just call him U.S. Agent. Because what I think now, after the events of this episode, what I think is going to happen to Captain America is that he's probably going to get court-martialed or something, and he's no longer going to be Captain America because the world has caught him doing something really dark. Something that the original Steve Rogers Captain America would never do. And I'll get to that in a second. So I'm sorry if I'm jumping all over the place. But this episode is really intense. Dora Milaje appear, after giving Bucky some time, at least specifically 8 hours or so. After 8 hours has gone by, the Dora Milaje appear to collect Zemo. And then a battle ensues between the Dora Milaje and John Walker and Lamar Hoskins. The Dora Milaje wiped the floor with these two people. And Bucky joins in. We also find out that there's obviously a safe code put into place regarding Bucky's vibranium arm, and to Bucky's surprise and shock, he's like, "What the hell?" All Ayo did was a 5-finger tap on the area where his arm is, and the vibranium arm just goes falls to the floor. Kind of a callback to the Civil War moment where Captain America just tosses the shield and drops it. Bucky's in shock, what the hell? And he's probably starting to suspect that maybe he just can't be trusted completely. I mean, he is, after all, responsible for committing mass murders and crimes, although he's been pardoned, and he wasn't exactly, in control of himself at that time. But still, you always want to put a safe, a safe piece code or safe code for instance for things like that, especially with a well-known war criminal. But really, he wasn't in control of himself during these crimes. So he was in shock, and I was like, wow, they really did. They really did my man's dirty right there. And then another thing is like, John Walker's surprise as to like, when he found out that the floor was just like he was just on his knees and coming to realization how the Dora Milaje weren't even super soldiered, as how he put it. It's like they weren't even super soldiers. He was just in shock. And one of my favorite moments in this episode is a musical cue. So I'm a big music fan, and I have a deep appreciation for an orchestrated piece that can really captivate me emotionally. Believe it or not, orchestrated pieces that are really moving, that invoke a lot of like emotions, like a mix of emotions, really are like it's really a big deal for me. So what I'm talking about is during the moment of defeat, John Walker's just kneeling down, looking down on his knees after he was wiped, with the Dora Milaje. You can hear a darker, slower paced version of Henry Jackman's Clash from Captain America Civil War. You know what I'm talking about. I can't play it here because I'll get copyright, but it goes do 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 do, like something like that. You get the idea. If you watch like the fight between Captain America and Iron Man, like the final fight where Captain America is about to fight, is fighting Iron Man, and he's about to like slam the shield onto Iron Man. Iron Man thinking like, oh, he's gonna kill me and decapitate me with his shield. But instead, Captain America just slams it on Iron Man's arc reactor and just defeats him. But there was that moment where like that musical cue hit, giving the sense of defeat. John Walker just feels it. And moving on a little bit, just to fast forward a little bit, we see Zemo pursuing Carly Morgenthau. He shoots her, drops the vials on the floor. And as Zemo's like, looking at this, is this what I think it is? Zemo like really upset, like he's all upset and angry about like, the super soldier serums on the floor. He starts stepping on them and stomping them like they're ants. And then like John Walker just comes in, throws the shield at his head, and just knocks him out. And of course, we all saw this from a mile away because we know at one point that John Walker was going to become the agent that he's supposed to be from the comics. He finds one vial that hasn't been stepped on, and presumably he takes it because we see him like, knocking down enemies, tackling them, bending pipes, swinging at these enemies with his shield. And I'm sorry if I'm out of order here, but there was also this awesome moment with Sam, who seems to be aligning with Carly Morgenthau, even though not agreeing with her methods. They were having an actual real deep conversation. Sam understands Carly Morgenthau, and Sam just aligning with her, saying like, listen, I know exactly what you're going through. I know what it's like to lose somebody, because they lost a mother figure. Carly and the group of the Flag Smashers lost a mother figure. So Sam can relate to that. Sam was aligning with Carly. There was just this nice moment that they had, but it was obviously ruined by John Walker. He just barged right in. He's like, okay, 10 minutes are up. We need to get her now. But I'm sorry if I'm telling this out of order, but it's just some of these moments that really caught my attention, made me go like, wow, this is a very great, episode. And overall, it's a great series. And by far, so far, it's the best episode yet. Remember, this series only has 6 episodes, and it seems like this series is moving on the fast pace. To my surprise, Lamar Hoskins, John Walker's Bucky, was killed very soon. And I thought that there was more stories to be told with that character, because that character has a lot of stories in the comics. And this is what causes John Walker to get enraged and blind by rage, just pursuing his enemies. And you can tell he's blinded because John Walker actually kills one of the men instead of Carly Morgenthau. It was actually Carly who accidentally killed Lamar Hoskins, but John Walker kills the wrong person because he's blinded by rage. And just the episode ends with him by like basically slamming the shield multiple times, killing him. And there's blood splatter on the bottom of the shield. Way to go, Disney Plus, for pulling off some blood splatter and some bloody scenes for a Disney Plus show, especially something that like falls in line with the PG-13 rating. So way to go, Disney. I really bold of them to do that. I didn't think we'd ever see something like that. Obviously, we would see something like in the Marvel Netflix series with Daredevil, or like The Punisher, where the scenes were much brutal and bloodier than ever. But this one's like, wow, this is really dark, and this is truly a dark Captain America. So basically, everything that John Walker has done as Captain America totally juxtaposes what everything Steve Rogers has done as Captain America. Steve Rogers is actually a good man, you know, whereas John Walker, he's met the requirements to be a good soldier, and he's a very good soldier. He was handpicked to be the next symbol of America, you know, Captain America. Captain America Steve Rogers was a weak man, and I'm going to quote this from Dr. Erskine, because Dr. Erskine will never, ever pick John Walker to be the next super soldier, you know. Erskine said a quote that I really like is, whatever happens tomorrow, you must promise me one thing, that you will always stay who you are, not a perfect soldier, but a good man. See, Steve Rogers, the difference between Steve Rogers and John Walker was that Steve Rogers was an actual good man. And although weak at first, a weak man knows the value of strength and compassion, whereas a strong man doesn't know the value of that stuff. He knows what power is, but he will, soon be consumed by power and wouldn't even know what to do with it. Basically, he would just overstep everybody. He will just be drunk with power, and that's what John Walker is. That's the kind of character he really is. We start to see him like lose himself, and I think he's only going to get a lot much more worse as like the episode progresses. So in come episode 5, there's supposed to be a big cameo appearance by a certain character from the comics, which I'm pretty excited about, and I don't know who it could possibly be, but I think John Walker is going to be on the run in the very next episode. I'm really excited and interested to see where his character goes from there. It seems like, again, like I said before, they're really rushing this series, but in a good way. Like, it works in the context of this series and the MCU, but in a good way. There's a bad rushing, and then there's like a good rushing. And I think this series is progressing really quickly. And so far, definitely by far, it is the better Disney Plus series. WandaVision is good and on its own right. You know, it's got its own thing. But this one is a very serious, grounded series. You know, these superheroes are well-grounded. They're super soldiers. It only needs 6 episodes, I guess. And there's probably a very valid reason as to why there's only 6 episodes in this series. I mean, I'm pretty sure it gets the point across. They need to get exactly, where they need to get with this series, and that is basically eliminate the Flag Smashers, or not exactly eliminate them, but like, I guess, collect them and, basically bring justice, bring justice to the world, because these Flag Smashers are just falling out of line by killing people, blowing up buildings and whatnot. So anyways, overall, it's a very good episode. I highly suggest you watch it. Sorry if I spoiled it for you, but I did warn you at the very beginning. If you enjoyed my review of I'm sorry, I said Captain America. If you've enjoyed my review of the Falcon and Winter Soldier episode 4, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click on bell notifications so you don't miss anything. Like the video anyways to show your support. It really helps the channel. And with all that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next comic panel.